All right, so every single time you search for something online, you're kicking off this incredible journey for your data. It's this hidden story, right? It all happens in the blink of an eye, and today we're going to pull back the curtain and show you exactly how it works. So let's just dive right in. Okay, so have you ever had that feeling where it's like an ad is just reading your mind? You know what I'm talking about. You search for, I don't know, new running shoes, and bam! Suddenly ads for those exact shoes are just everywhere you look. It's not magic. It's not a coincidence. It's actually a massive, super high-speed system at play, and we're about to show you exactly how it all goes down.
The whole thing basically breaks down into 4 main stages. First, you leave a footprint. Then, believe it or not, your data is sold. After that, a crazy fast auction begins for your attention. And finally, boom, the ad appears. We're going to walk through each one of these steps right now.
All right, Section 1, your digital footprint. So where does this whole wild journey even start? Well, it all begins the moment you do something you probably do dozens of times a day.
That's it. It all begins with a single search. The second you hit enter, you're basically raising your hand and telling the internet, hey, I'm interested in this. And that little signal, that's like the starting pistol for a massive race to get your attention.
So how does this actually happen? Well, it's all thanks to these sneaky little things called cookies and pixels. You can't see them, but they're tiny bits of code on websites, and they act like little digital notepads. They're just sitting there, recording your activity, and basically yelling out to advertisers, hey, over here, this person is into running shoes. Yeah, think of them just like digital breadcrumbs. With every website you visit, every link you click, you're leaving this little trail behind you. And, well, just like in the stories, that trail is absolutely being followed. Okay, moving on to Section 2, the data marketplace. So what happens to all those digital breadcrumbs you've left behind? They don't just, vanish into thin air. Nope. They get gathered up and tossed into this huge, almost completely automated marketplace. In this marketplace, you've basically got 3 main players. First up, you have the search engines, like Google, who log that initial search you made. Then you've got these middlemen, ad networks and data brokers, who just swoop right in and package all that data about your interests together. And finally, you have the ad platforms, think Facebook, who buy that data to build out a pretty detailed but anonymous profile of who you are and what you like. And this is the really critical part to understand. Your interest in a topic, that simple search for running shoes, has now officially become a product. It's not just a thought anymore. It is now a commodity, something that can be bought and sold, just like anything else. All right, Section 3, the algorithm's decision. So an ad platform has your data. Now what? Well, this is where the machines, the algorithms, take over, and they make decisions at a speed that is, honestly, it's hard to even wrap your head around. So these super smart machine learning algorithms start analyzing that whole breadcrumb trail we talked about. Now, to be super clear, they don't know your name or anything like that. They just take your anonymous profile and slot you into what they call interest categories, things like running enthusiasts or likes outdoor gear. And just like that, you've become the perfect target for a very specific group of advertisers. And here's where it gets really wild. The instant you open a new web page or even just scroll down your social feed, an empty ad slot pops up. And in that exact moment, an auction is held in real time for a chance to get your attention. All these different advertisers who want to reach someone just like you are all bidding against each other for that single empty slot. So, how long do you think this whole auction takes, for all these companies to place their bids and for a winner to be chosen? I'll give you a number, 100. Now, you're probably asking 100 what? 100 milliseconds. We're talking about a tenth of a second. That is literally faster than you can blink. The entire auction, from the ad space appearing to the bids flying in to a winner being picked, it all happens in that tiny, tiny fraction of a second. It's just an incredible piece of engineering when you think about it. And that brings us to our final step, Section 4, the final ad. So the lightning-fast auction is over, we have a winner, and now it's time for them to claim their prize, which is, of course, your attention. Simple as that. The winning bidder, the company that was willing to pay the most in that 100 millisecond window, gets to put their ad right in front of you. That's why you're seeing an ad for a specific brand of running shoes and not, an ad for a new car. They literally won the right to talk to you right then and there. And because this whole system is so interconnected, these ads can show up just about anywhere you go online. You'll see them on the websites you visit, popping up in your social media feeds, inside your apps. You might even see them in your email. They're everywhere. So let's recap the whole journey, right? Check, you left a digital footprint. Check,
your data was sold. Check, an auction began. And check, the ad appeared. All 4 steps, done. That is the hidden, high-speed story that explains that spooky feeling of an ad reading your mind.
So there you have it. The process is demystified. Now you know the secret story of how your simple search turns into a targeted ad. And that just leaves one last question for you to think about. What story is your footprint telling?